So it's kind of crazy how one decision can change your life forever. Now imagine having those decisions come from somebody other than yourself. How somebody can kind of play God with your fate. Let's take a closer look at the man that changed the creator of Naruto's life forever, his future, his destiny, and where his career would go.
No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done.
Okay, people, before we jump into it, make sure to hit that subscribe button and that bell to get notified. We always talk about some insanity in the world of anime and manga, and you want to be tapped in, so hit those buttons. I'd greatly appreciate it. Okay, so you're probably like, what's going on here? What are you talking about? Who changed Masashi Kishimoto's life? How did they do it? Well, in case you don't know, Masashi Kishimoto, after Naruto, took a few years off and he tried to return with a series called Samurai 8: The Tale of Hachimaru. Now, with that series, he had somebody co-creating it with him. He had somebody doing the art while he did the story and basic storyboards. But in case you don't know, when it comes to manga creation, it's not only the artist, the author that are, having the say-so on things. Oftentimes, they have somebody, in fact, all the time, they have somebody over them that is essentially playing God, playing the leader, so to speak, on, hey, we go this direction, and they're known as the editor. Yes, people, usually they have an editor that pretty much gets the final say-so on things. Like, for example, they could basically make it that, hey, Kaguya didn't come outside of Madara. In fact, she came out of the ground instead because she was planted. Like, they can actually change things like that if they feel like doing so. If they feel like, hey, that's for the betterment of the story, that's the better direction to go in, they very well can say, yo, we changing it. And so, as of recent, in case you don't know, over on the Forever News channel, we talked about it quite a bit. The editor of Masashi Kishimoto's Samurai 8 manga was recently, quote-unquote, fired. They removed him from damn near every manga of editing it, and I think he's only doing like one manga now. But essentially, this dude was like a pariah, a plague on Shonen Jump manga because he was the editor of Samurai 8: The Tale of Hachimaru. Boom, got canceled. He was the editor of the Hunters Guild Red Hood. Boom, got canceled. He was the editor of My Hero Academia for like the last year and a half to 2 years. People say it's the worst arc or the worst paced arc of My Hero Academia thus far. He was also part of a Gravity Boys that got canceled. Like, dude has had his hands on everything that has went downhill. And so Shonen Jump took the idea of saying, yo, let's get this motherfucker the fuck up out of here. What is he doing in here? Get him out of here. However, I went through my archives and found some very interesting notes on this dude. For starters, it seems like Shueisha lost their damn mind and put a creator, a legacy author like Masashi Kishimoto with an editor that is damn near like a Gen Zer. It feels like they put, and from the looks of it, dude looks very young. Like, they was like, you know what? Masashi Kishimoto, he's kind of older now. He may not be hip to what's going on in the scene, so let's put a really young rookie to run this ship. And I just thought to myself when I saw this, like, why? But let's take a closer look at an interview from the former editor of Samurai 8: The Tale of Hachimaru, and essentially the man that led Masashi Kishimoto, creator of Naruto, into cancellation. Don't know why I did a Squidward voice, but we'll roll with it. Although now that I think about it, a Squidward voice fits perfectly for the scenario of, why did you do that, SpongeBob? And by the way, this interview was taken around the time that Samurai 8 first got serialized. So this is when he first started becoming an editor, shall I say, or a big deal and an issue in Weekly Shonen Jump magazine. By the way, this gentleman's name is Taguchi, and here's his picture. Again, he looks so young. How could they put somebody so young in charge of Masashi Kishimoto? For starters, they asked Taguchi about CG and sci-fi. He said, nowadays with CG technology being as sophisticated as it is, you can enjoy as much sci-fi content as you like outside of manga. That's why we wanted to make sci-fi expression in manga an important consideration. We need to have some titles that weave the story on a very large scale, otherwise the manga industry itself will start to shrink in importance. However, there are not many newcomers who can take on the genre of sci-fi. That's why I would like to see great mangaka like Kishimoto Sensei face a challenge like this head on. Kishimoto Sensei himself was also amazed by the scale of the story in sci-fi work such as Star Wars, Star Trek, and Ghost in the Shell during his childhood. If we only created stories that play out in a small town, we would be limiting the scale of manga. We chose sci-fi in order to create a large-scale story that would excite audiences. Well, for starters, I appreciate the, passion and enthusiasm, but we didn't decide anything. That was Kishimoto's idea a long time ago. You just jumped on board and they just stuck you on there like, hey, he's a Gen Zer. Let's see what he can do. So let's be clear about that one. Then they said, for weekly series, sci-fi is a difficult theme to deal with, isn't it? Taguchi said, since we use a lot of technical terms, it tends tends to become difficult to understand for readers. Sci-fi has various difficulty levels. It's easier to understand if the story is based on the real world while featuring otherworldly characters. But in this work, the culture and the historical backgrounds are completely different, and the story develops on the stage of the universe. Moreover, cyborg samurai are quite different from the typical samurai, and these jumps of imagination make the content rather risky. I believe that this is Kishimoto sensei's challenge to himself, creating something very different from Naruto in a difficult genre. I think he has a desire to show everyone in Japan and around the world something huge in scale. God, even hearing that, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not a big fan of this dude at all, but just to hear that Kishimoto was like looking to change manga as a whole in Japan, damn it. Like, in all honesty, if it would have been spread out a little bit more, if it wasn't for the exposition dumps that we got early on, I think that a lot of this could have worked. I still look back and say, god damn, there's so many interesting and exciting concepts in Samurai 8. How did we drop the ball? Oh, I know, we had Taguchi with us. They asked him, will Samurai 8 be an important title for Weekly Shonen Jump as a whole? I think Samurai 8 is like the spark of an explosion. Jump is a magazine that is competing for manga artists to survive. From the viewpoint of a novice, just alone, why are they having a novice with him? That gets me mad. From the viewpoint of a novice, so then why are you there? This is a GOAT. Why did they do that? Other than the fact that the only thing I could think of is they put a novice there because realistically Kishimoto wasn't going to listen too much to him. Like, if that's the case, then by all means. But considering the fact that his track record led him from cancellation to cancellation to cancellation to messing shit up, I'm not gonna buy that. Just the idea of having Kishimoto in the space is different in terms of motivation. It's the same as Eiichiro Oda sensei, One Piece. You keep your goddamn eyes off of One Piece right now, Taguchi. And Riichiro Inagaki sensei's Dr. Stone, thankfully Dr. Stone is completely out the picture now, can't ruin that one, who have been competing with each other for a long time. Having such big names and existing in the same magazine pages raises tensions. Above all that, Okubo sensei's illustration is nothing less than outstanding. Shout outs to him. He didn't get enough shine, and this is not Okubo, like, you know, the Fire Force author. This was somebody that was doing the art for Samurai 8. Any mangaka who is doing a new serialization at the same time is probably like, please stop. I don't want my illustration to be compared with Okubo sensei's. Laughs. I'll give him that. He was trying to big up the artist. Okay. Even simply the amount of information present in a background by Okubo sensei is amazing. I think those same mangaka are going to be like, I'm giving up. My backgrounds cannot be compared to theirs. Okay, I like some of that stuff. I'm not gonna lie. He was really bigging up the artist. Shout outs to him for that one. I believe it is a good thing for novices to feel this strong set. There he goes, a novice again. This strong sense of pressure from these big names and think that they have to try harder. Going back to the work, I think it's a work consciously made with the intent of taking advantage of the ability that is being able to utilize various plans and doing things that only veterans are able to do. Definitely. And they should have had a veteran editor or somebody that maybe is a veteran and understands what's going on right now. Not this kid. What is important in establishing a relationship between an editor and a mangaka? I'm still young and need to learn more myself. Oh god. Do you see the mistakes here? How many times is he gonna say that he's a novice and all of this shit? Do you see what they did? But I think being straightforward is important. For example, with new talent, I can be frank with them from the beginning. I can talk candidly, say things like, you have to keep plugging away more seriously. You're pampered by everyone right now because you're young, but after 4 to 5 years, you won't be young in this industry. However, it's difficult to be frank with a mangaka who has completed a large series and has earned a reputation. The editor tends to step back somewhat, but honestly, the mangaka are also aware of this and are probably thinking, these guys are lying in their minds. Of course, there are different ways of thinking, and it depends on the person, but some people sugarcoat their true feelings and just flatter the mangaka. I'm not one of them. I speak plainly and talk to them about anything. It might be rude, but I often explain my intentions upfront at meetings before sharing my opinions. So basically, he was upfront about, yeah, you know, we should do this and that, and your upfrontness really got us somewhere. I'm sorry, I know I'm being a sour sport about this whole situation, but I'm a little bit bitter. You can be bitter sometimes. Just, I'm not gonna wallow up in it. You know, I don't talk about Samurai 8 often, and I don't talk about Kishimoto often, but when I do, I talk. So you're saying trust is important, aren't you? That's right. It's important for them to know I'm not lying. I try to consider their deadlines and circumstances and let them know important information beforehand. Basically, you came in and said, yo dog, I'm young and I know what's hip right now. Trust me, bro. Trust me, bro. And he trusted you. What kind of work Samurai 8 is to you? It's a bomb. Well, the protagonist's sword literally explodes, but other than that, I want the work to be something unconventional. I am open to pretty much anything. At the start of a new series, even a veteran mangaka becomes cautious, interestingly. But I have a gut feeling that Masashi Kishimoto is the type of mangaka who can create an extraordinary work every time. When I was just a reader of Naruto, I remember my shock as Madara dropped a huge meteorite on Earth. Oh my god, that was so epic! Be that was not the end, he mumbled, "What will I do with the second one?" and dropped the second meteor on the first one. The biggest appeal of Kishimoto sensei is his confidence to do what he wants without hesitation. Where other people would hesitate, he's the type that goes straight ahead. I want him to go full throttle with Samurai 8 as well. I would like him to stimulate the industry rather than staying quiet. I really want him to use his many talents to set off an explosion in the industry. You know what? I'm gonna walk back some of this. In terms of, I don't think necessarily the blame is completely to put on Taguchi. I feel like the blame more so should go on whoever put Taguchi in position, especially when it came to proximity of Samurai 8. You could argue with like the Hunters Guild Red Hood, hey, it was a newbie, Yuki Kawaguchi isn't a veteran author, fair enough, if it got canceled, it is what it is, but putting him next to Masashi Kishimoto, a veteran that is trying to get popping with Samurai 8, that was terrible. And then likewise putting him on My Hero Academia, he says multiple times throughout this interview, I'm a rookie, I'm new, I just got here, blah blah blah. Why would you put him next to Kishimoto that just graduated into godlike status with Naruto? Like, not only was that a big mistake, honestly, I feel like whoever put Taguchi in that position dropped the ball immensely. He was not meant to be at that position. He rushed things. He made it go boom, and it ultimately led to Masashi Kishimoto's future being changed and his fate going in a different direction. Because in case you don't follow it, I followed everything. Masashi Kishimoto was hyping up Samurai 8 for a long time. He was saying that Samurai 8 is going to be bigger than Naruto. He was saying it's going to revolutionize things, and Taguchi had the spirit. I'm going to give him that. Taguchi was like, yo, we're going to do this, we're going to change the game, all of that stuff, but that tenacity alone wasn't enough. And honestly, I feel like if they would have put a veteran that understood, yeah, doing too much exposition here, you should change this, things probably would have been better off. Honestly, if you think about it, a lot of the things that made Samurai 8 fail would have probably been things that an editor that is a veteran in the game and understands what you need to do to begin to get things off the ground wouldn't have made. Now, am I saying that the fault lies entirely on Taguchi or even the person that put him in position? No, Masashi Kishimoto should have known better with certain aspects of, dog, you gotta get things smooth first. Naruto in the beginning wasn't just, hey, here's all this information. In the beginning, it was silly goofs, Konohamaru tripping over his scarf, like silly shit. Maybe you could have added a bunch of breadcrumbs and led it into what it ultimately would become. But I think Masashi Kishimoto also was so eager, and I think a lot of this aura of, oh, let's change the game, was so in the wrong place at the wrong time. I think Samurai 8 came a little too early. I think it was kind of like Roger in terms of in One Piece. He got there too soon. Right person in the right place at the wrong time. Like, I have no doubt in my mind if Samurai 8 came out right now with a different editor and a different kind of motif, so to speak, I think Samurai 8 will blow up right now. But unfortunately, that ship has sailed, and I'm very curious what you guys thought about this whole situation. For starters, how do you feel about the guy that led Masashi Kishimoto's fate into a different direction? Do you feel like Taguchi is the one to blame? Is it the people down at Shueisha that put him in position to begin with? Again, it's like if they just grabbed some kid and said, hey, you're gonna be an editor, right? Boom, you're working on Naruto creator's next work. And do you foresee Masashi Kishimoto returning at some given point with a different series, or you think he's probably looking at it, that tarnished my legacy, we ain't doing that no more? Honestly, I felt like Samurai 8 to begin with shouldn't have probably been in Shonen Jump. Maybe Jump Plus would have been the thing. I don't know what made them decide, yeah, put him in Shonen Jump. Like, he kind of graduated from that. He made one of the greatest and most popular series of all time in Shonen Jump. Like, probably he should have been in Jump Plus or a monthly serialization, something different. But that's all I have for this one. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule: anime and manga for life, boy. Have an awesome day. Peace in, and yeah, Taguchi. What did you do, dog?
So just go to